Hey guys, welcome to the tailgate. So I got an exciting product to bring to y'all today. I just picked up a Davidson Defense Manufacturing AR lower receiver, and it comes equipped with the latest Rare Breed FRT-15L3. This is just a very simple AR receiver. We're about to dive into the features and tell you my initial thoughts about it. All right, when you go on to Delta Team Tactical's website and look for these receivers, you'll have different options. You can get the receiver stripped, you can get assembled, you can get it with or without a brace or stock, and I believe most of them come with the A2 pistol grip. This one came with an A2, and this did not have a brace or a stock, so this is a registered firearm. Right off the bat, one of the cosmetic complaints, if you will, that I have is that the model, the caliber, and the serial number is on the right-hand side. I much prefer that it stays in the mil-spec side right here. That is a rather large logo. They could probably make it a little bit smaller and add that information right here. Another cosmetic issue is right here where the castle nut is. The castle nut is staked, and that's the only place that the castle nut is staked. And even though it's staked, you can break that easily and be able to fit or correct this end plate. It looks like maybe that was a rushed job. You see the gap there between the end plate and the receiver. And also looks like maybe the end plate is a little bit longer than the receiver itself. So one or both of these parts may be more or less out of spec. Another cosmetic issue that I have is if you look at the flare in the magazine well, see how well I can get this to pick up on camera. Look at the bevel right here, and then we'll look at the bevel on the other side. The bevel here on this looks more appropriate. Looks more like what I like to see. I like to see these large beveled mag wells. There we go, right there. You can see the difference. See the difference between the bevel here and the bevel here? Now, these are just some cosmetic issues that I guess I'm digging up. I do plan on putting an HRF magwell, flared magwell on this before I shoot it. But I just want to show it to you before I actually start shooting. I mentioned moments ago that this came with a A2 pistol grip, and I swapped it out for this B5 Systems Type 23 grip. Most of my subscribers and viewers know that the BCM gunfighter grip has been a long-time favorite of mine, and I still do like it. I've already put an upper on this, and I just want to try something different besides BCM. I do like grips that are, of course, not as angled as the A1, A2 pistol grips. I do like them more straight up and down. The BCM works just fine as a dual type pistol grip. However, I do believe I'm going to like this one a little bit more. I've never shot an AR with this B5 pistol grip on it, so I got a video coming where I actually do shoot this for the first time. So far, when I go to shoot, if I'm up close, I can actually still choke up all the way on the pistol grip, whereas on the gunfighter, I was having to slide my hand down just a little bit to be able to really bring it in nice and tight. With this, I can still either do regular shooting, or I can bring it in nice and tight for vehicles, and I got a surprise upper for you here in just a moment. So I think I'm actually going to enjoy this. If you have any experience with this grip, please leave me a comment down below. I'd like to hear what you got to say about it. Or if there's any other kind of grip, I'm wanting to say I think it's a Kung Fu grip that has maybe even a straighter line. If y'all have experience with that, please leave me a comment down below. Now, this lower receiver does come with this super high speed all black buffer. I have no idea if this is a H, H1, H2, H6 or whatever, but I did weigh this and it weighs approximately 5.70 ounces. With that, it comes with this mil-spec type spring. I am going to shoot this with this spring, And I'll show you the upper here in a moment as a little surprise. If this doesn't work out, I do have an H3. However, I think this will be fine for what I'm going to be shooting tomorrow because the gas system is slightly adjustable. Before we get into the upper, here's the HRF flared magwell that I plan on putting on the lower. If you're not rocking one of these, I do recommend it. If you do have a more contemporary lower that comes with a flared magwell, which I personally believe they all should come by now, but if you don't have that, get one of these, it does help. Also, I found this at my FFL the other day when I picked up the receiver. This is the latest Mod 4 BCM gunfighter grip. The lines on the front are much more aggressive. The stippling on the side's more aggressive. You got that pretty cool looking star. It is very similar. It does feel like maybe it's a little bit wider than the, I guess, the original BCM gunfighter grip. I like this. If you do like the BCM gunfighter grip and you're debating between, I believe it's the Mod 1, something like that, or this version, I'd go ahead and get this version. But if you already have the older BCM gunfighter grips, unless you're really dealing with blood, water, sweat, other type fluids, I would stick with the original, but this right here is very nice. And if you, like I said, if you don't already have one, get this one. The next video about this is going to be me shooting it, and I plan on shooting 1,200 rounds through this system. This is an old Adam Arms 7.5 inch short stroke piston upper that I received as a gift over 10 years ago. And it's a pretty fun upper to shoot. It is rather heavy. It does seem to be pretty robust. The only difference is this receiver has a dedicated registered SBR lower that it sits on. Right now my Davidson manufacturing receiver is not an SBR. So with that, I had this, I believe this is a Fab Defense or something like that, vertical handguard that was on here. And even though this looks a little crazy, this thing is very, very nice. It's surprisingly nice. Every time I go to get this gun out and I look at it, here it is in the folded position, I think to myself, yeah, I'm gonna change that out. And just as soon as I do, I pull that down, pick it up, and hold the system, and it is like super ergonomic. So if you have a chance and you want something a little bit different, something you don't see a lot of folks using on the range, check one of these out. I believe it's marked FGG-5. And I'll see if I can't find maybe a link to this. I've had this for over 10 years, and see if I can put it down in the description box below. The pretty neat thing about this particular rail system is you push a little small button in, this silver button right here, push this forward, and it comes right on out. I was going to do a burn down of my XM177E2, and I'll do that at some point. I apologize, I'm gonna push it further out. But take a look at that barrel. That thing is absolutely massive. That's what she said, right? I know somebody's thinking that. Anyway, yeah, buddy. I'm gonna load up all my magazines after this video, and I plan on hitting the range about noontime tomorrow when it opens, and we're gonna burn this thing down. I'm not gonna melt it, of course, but yeah, I'm gonna shoot 1,200 rounds through it, and we're gonna see what happens. Now, not so much concerned about this as I am the receiver and the FRT. And with that, I know the FRT is what you want to look at. When I ordered this receiver, I decided to go ahead and have them assemble it for me. I did check these screws. The screws do have Loctite on them. There is a little bit of play back and forth with the screws, but that seems to be normal. That's the case on my BCM lower. Although I will say there's more play in this than there is in my BCM lower. I'm not sure if this is actually mil spec from the outside to outside or what's going on, but I don't think that's going to have an issue with actually shooting it. The selector switch is very nice. It's very tactile, but it's, what's a good word besides stiff, but it's not easy to flip the switch, but it's not hard. You pretty much have to be cognizant of what you're doing. And of course it does have ambidextrous selector on it, and that's nice. Now we look at the fit of the FRT in the receiver. And early on, folks were concerned about this screw right here backing out, and some folks, including myself, recommended before installation to unscrew it just a little bit to where you get maybe about 2 threads, put just a dab of Loctite on it, and then screw it back in. You know, not snug, you know, you don't have to Gorilla Grip it or anything, but I do like how the receiver is cut, and should the screw start backing out, it doesn't look like it's going to go more than a thread before it hits the wall. So there's your lock bar. Everything seems to be appropriate on it. The hammer spring has 2 coils plus the leg. Just taking a note of that. And here's the hot topic right there. It comes with that gun butter stuff. I believe that's gun butter. If it's something else, please correct me in the comments down below. I'm not familiar with gun butter, but Kalashnikov Mania on YouTube, go check out his channel, like, comment, subscribe, and all the other good stuff. He's very, very knowledgeable on the FRT. He doesn't like this, and he likes to use standard, I believe it's lithium type grease, and I concur with that. I have thought about cleaning this out and putting appropriate grease in it. However, I think for the purpose of this test, I'm going to leave it alone, and I'm going to run 1,200 rounds on it tomorrow and see how it goes. Again, notice the springs along the hammer pin and how the legs of the springs, you know, sit on top. Everything seems to be working appropriately. I haven't seen this trigger pack outside the receiver, but it does look very similar to the Delta Team Tacticals version that we all know and love, and at this point it's proven. I know between Kalashnikov Mania, Keek, and myself, we have north of 30,000 rounds on these, or the Delta Team Tacticals version of the FRT-15L3. And the only issue to date is one of the springs, the legs broke, but the hammer was still working. So we're waiting to hear from Keek an update about that, as he's using a different spring now. But so far, everything seems to be good to go, good working order. So we're going to be putting this through its paces here soon. Right, just to show that the magazine does insert and work. So everything seems to be good to go. All right, guys, about to wrap up part 1 of this series. Part 2 will be the actual shooting footage. But I want to show the B5 grip real quick, and also this BCM grip. I would like to actually have the B5 grip instead of this BCM. I like it's a little bit smaller, a little bit thinner and all. I don't have one for Picatinny rail. If I like the setup enough, I may go ahead and swap it out. But anyway, with that, with the brace all the way in, I can still utilize it, you know, however much I need to use it, right? Also, I imagine this is going to get super hot tomorrow, and I'm not sure, like, between my finger and the rail system, if that's going to, how long it's going to take before that gets really hot. But I got something to protect my hand just in case. So, or if we pull the brace all the way out, for me, this actually too much. That's too long. But I do like to have it about there. Originally, I was looking for this optic and I put it in a bag and forgot about it. I did put this Tragicon MRO on it. Yeah, it seems to be okay. It's kind of old school, but I picked these up years ago when they were on sale. I think it's from like DSG or DSGarms.com. I believe they're out of business now. But I think it's going to be a fun little gun to shoot. So stay tuned for part 2. We'll catch y'all soon. Stay safe, carry everywhere that you can, and we'll see y'all in the next video.